Welcome to the Naked Podcast, episode 30. Welcome, everyone, our 30th episode. And we have the fireworks on the side of that. So just a little dance. 30, 30, 30, 30. And yeah. It's funny because when we did the 10th episode and when we did the 20, I was amazed. When we do the 30, I'm like, yeah, that's just normal. I think it's like we're on a good run. So it's like, it's a good thing. But yeah, it's the 30th episode, which is a really, really, really amazing stuff that I've been following this work, not say about work, but this podcast for more than 30 episodes, which is great. And it's great.
30 weeks,
how are you
baby.
doing? How are you doing, Matt?
Wow, I'm doing super good this morning. I feel better, and I feel celebrating. I feel I'm in a celebrating mode, and the fireworks are exploding everywhere here. It's so funny. In my town, I told you that like for anything that happened, there's fireworks. Like
It's funny,
baby is born,
during the day.
Fireworks. Oh yeah, there's no time. It's in the day, in the night, whatever. And it's not really like fireworks with lights. It's just bangs. It's just like bangs. So it's just like exploding, pow, 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 pow all the time. And some period of the year there's more, some there's less. And yesterday it was all day, man. Seriously, you never seen that, like all day fireworks. It just won't stop. So this morning there was none. So I was like, okay, good. We'd be able to record. And then like 10 minutes before we press record, they start banging again. And now it's just not stopping. So it's for us, bro. Celebrating the 30th episode.
Celebrating.
But you know what I'm not celebrating is that we haven't had any guests yet. And I told myself we would have had one on the 30th, and we don't. So,
but you know, there's some contacts at our line.
Oh yeah, and in fact, you remember there's one of your contact. I remember. I think he said that when we would had 30 episode, he would come on the podcast.
He said 20 to 30. He said.
Well, time to come, man. We'll welcome you on the podcast soon. So yeah,
that would be interesting.
So we haven't done a proper introduction, so I'm gonna do it quickly. So this is the Naked Podcast, the podcast about authenticity, where Matt and Phil get on a phone call, on a Zoom call, to talk about any subject that they have on their mind. The important thing is that it's unfiltered. It's all about the truth, all about being authentic and not leaving taboos aside or things that we don't want to talk about. If you don't want to talk about something, you say it. I don't want to talk about it, but you don't try to go around. That's what we do here. So it's uncut, it's unfiltered, unscripted, and it's our 30th episode today, and we're really, really happy about it. So now your turn. How are you, my friend?
Good. Really good. Yeah, no, I'm just doing
no washing machine in the background today.
No, just the internet seems to work. Find out a way to make it work the right way. So that's good for that. Everything is going well. Everything is going well.
There you go. And there's celebration fireworks in the background. I'm waiting for your weekly question that you ask me all the time.
My weekly question that I ask you all the time. How was your weekend?
No, I just remember that you asked me that always before we record, and you didn't this time. And it's the only time I would have answered differently. You always ask me like right before we start the recording. He's like, so do you know what we're going to talk about today? And every time I say, nope, I don't have a clue. But today, I have a clue. Wow. I was meditating just before doing that podcast. and I just had a flash about what I want to talk about today is about goal setting.
Is about?
About goal setting.
Okay.
And I think that for a 30th episode, we could ask ourselves, are we where we want to be? What were our goals? Have we really done that? And what, like, it's more about how goal setting affects someone. And why I feel about to talk about that is because that's what I live in the past, I would say 2 weeks, maybe. In the past 2 weeks, I had this really weird feeling of, I don't know, sometimes it's really hard to explain your feeling, but I felt like lower in energy, lower, like less motivated, and everything just went, and like last week our podcast was so low in energy, and it was really one of our worst, and it was just like continuing the trend of what I felt since maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I was talking about it with Jamie, and she was like, yeah, what's going on? Like, I can feel you're a bit like sloppy, like just not motivated. And sometime in the year, I feel that I need to relax. Like, I need to just let go of a bit of too much work or something. But I didn't feel it was that. So one morning, maybe like a couple of days ago, I was meditating again. I get a lot of answers when I meditate. It's amazing. And then it just fucking smashed into my face. And I was like, oh, wow, I think I know why I feel bad. It's because I've reached my goal, my 2-year goal. I've reached it 2 weeks ago. And since then, it's like I have no direction. It's like I'm just being, and I don't have any aim, like precise aim. And in all my past years of like personal development and entrepreneurship and everything, I've came across that concept a lot of time, that human being, we need goals. That's how we work. And if you don't have goals, and if you don't make like a mission of making sure that when you achieve a goal, you set a new one right now, then you have these periods that you are kind of in between and you feel weird. So I want to have your thought on that, because I'm sure you're a big goal setter. You're definitely more into that than me. And I want to talk to you about that, because I feel that that's what I'm missing right now.
So just one question first, because I felt like, I know that as human, we need purpose. Yeah. And I just want to see where you make the difference between purpose and goals.
Oh, well, that's, for me, I would say, like, purpose is the color of life you want to live in, and goal is the painting you make with it.
Okay.
So the purpose is like the background. It's like my purpose in life is to live fully. It's so simple. I just want to live fully myself. The purpose is never about the how. The purpose is always about the why. Why?
No, I know that.
What do you want?
But it has to translate in a certain way. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Well, that's exactly what you say. The purpose is the why. The goals are the what and the how.
You see, for me, not necessarily. I separate really the purpose and everything from the goals.
Well, tell me what you think about those two.
Okay, so for example, I like, what I think the one that says that is Les Brown, that I like when he says that in one of his talks. He says, live your life with passion, thrive and, live it fully. And then after that, you have all your stuff about having fun and all that. For me, if I look at myself, I notice that I thrive when I'm learning new things. So this is something completely personal. Okay, I'm not saying to other people like you will thrive if you learn new things. I'm just saying that, for example, with me, I feel that if I'm learning new things, I thrive more, and it feeds my curiosity into new things. And I don't know. I think I'm becoming more than what I was yesterday. And so it happens to me that sometimes I go sideways from that, where, for example, I'm going to watch TV shows on Netflix that have no purpose, and I'm not reading books, and I'm not listening to books, and I'm not looking at YouTube videos that are, that we talked about, like Jordan Peterson or other guys like that. And so I feel like I'm kind of losing my way, and this is why I feel, and it's part of my purpose. But I'm just taking one concrete example. But I'm not necessarily setting a goal for that. Does it make sense? Where I separate the two?
Well, when I hear that, what I think is like you can have like your purpose can be like tied to a goal, or like a goal can be a long-term goal of your life to live. Well, I mean, your main goal in life could be to live a life of purpose. That's your ultimate goal of life, is to live a life of purpose.
Yeah.
For me, the goal is more like what. It's more the what, the how, the when, and then the purpose is the why. And it's an explanation of the why. I really like. I cannot talk about that and not talk about Simon Sinek. He's the ultimate, like I think you can say like the culprit, like the top of the top in this field. His book is Start With Why, and it's amazing. He's in marketing, but he translates that into, because I really don't like marketing, and I love Simon Sinek. Because it's true marketing.
I love him also.
It's authentic. It's so authentic. Even if it's marketing, if all marketing would be done like he does, that would be amazing. But anyway, stop the grouping. It's just for me.
Simon Sinek, if you want to come to our podcast, we will like to.
T'es pas game. So yeah, the purpose, it's like the background thing for me. It's like what's always there in the background, and what's your purpose. For me, I would just wanna. It's a blend of like living, being myself, experiencing life at the fullest. Learn. I'm also like you, like to learn the most thing I can about this life. Like every time I do new things, like every first time for me, I love it. I really love that at 33 years old, almost every week I do something and it's like, wow, it's my first time doing that. And I tell Jamie all the time, I say like, oh, that's a first. And I just keep piling first. And for me, that makes me happy to keep piling first all throughout my life. And so yeah, and that's my purpose. So my goal, my life goal is to live my life with purpose. And my purpose is everything that I just told you, because that's who I am. That's why I want to live this life and impact other in the same way. Like if my joy, my happiness, my authentic living can inspire people, the inspiration part, that I really like too. And it's not something that I strive for. It's not like a goal, like I want to inspire people, or like I want to inspire 100 people by 180 days. Because it's a bit hard to calculate or to keep track of. But yeah, for me, goal. So I'm just gonna quickly say like my situation, and then
go for it.
Maybe tell me what you think, because so basically I told you, and I'm not sure I said it on the podcast, but I was into a bankruptcy, and basically from the moment that I took the decision that I would go that route, it's 2 years ago. And then I had like to prepare my thing, to prepare my mind, to be ready to do that. And it took like almost a year from the moment I took the decision until everything happened. I closed the business, and then I signed the paper. And from the moment you sign the paper in Canada, after, if you're the first one and you follow all the rules, it's like 9 months and you can have your liberation from the bankruptcy. Well, that whole 2-year process, it was like my main goal. My goal that I set 2 years ago was, I'm going to be liberated from all that struggle that I keep bringing into my life in the past 10 years. And I'm just gonna reset and start fresh and better, because I'm a different man now, and these debts are from my past and they don't fit with who I am anymore. And it was also the only way to get rid really of my business partner, the shit he put me into and everything. So I decided that I would be free. I would start new. And that was...
Are you back?
Carlis.
I'm still recording.
I'm still recording too. I don't give a shit. No. I'm fucking pissed.
Are you still recording or not now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's continue. So you were saying these 2 years. Go for it.
I don't know where I'm gonna cut. I don't know where I'm gonna cut that, but whatever. Yeah. So I don't know where you missed where I was.
So you were saying that you were in a 2 years process, and so go for it from there, because we lost a bit of it.
Okay. Well, I think I'll have it on my side, but whatever. Yeah, it's just quickly, it was a 2-year process. And then from the moment I took that decision, that was my goal. And that was a really long-term goal that I set. And everything that I did for 2 years was always aligned in that direction. And then I got liberated 2 weeks ago. And I celebrated, and it was amazing. But then I feel that from that moment, I'm like drifting in nothing. Like I didn't realize at first, but then it came to me, and I was like, wow, I don't have any goals anymore. That's why I don't have like a main goal for the next 5 years, like, or I don't know. I feel I'm missing direction. And that's why I feel sloppy a bit, or like unmotivated. I need something to bring me back. We haven't set real goal for Naked. We're doing exactly what we said we would, but we haven't like set growth goal, or like, and on the crypto investment side, I'm already doing what I want to do. So like behind all this, my background big goal is kind of blurry right now, and I feel it's affecting me.
Okay, that's I have also another analysis, but that's me.
Sure.
I'm just gonna add on your analysis and tell me if it's true or not. Generally, when you go through that kind of long process that are part of your life, and it's true for goals, and it's true for stuff that you do, is that you live with that process. It's like, for example, moving. And I noticed that our mind are really capable to be in a certain mindset and change the mindset. So for example, when you're moving, when you're changing country or whatever, it can take 3 to 6 months. It's not something that you do, next week I'm moving country and I take all my stuff and I'm going away. Like, it's really rare to be able to do that. And what I notice is that when you go through that process, your mind is in the I don't know how to explain it. It's like in a different state where you're in a moving state. So maybe you're going to be a bit more stressed about stuff and everything. And then you're gonna reach the point, the date where you move. You're gonna finish your move, and what is gonna happen is that 1 week or 2 weeks later, your brain is suddenly gonna let go that build that you have done during 6 months. And when that happens, I'm noticing, at least in me, is that my body is relaxing. It's almost like all this thing that was built up during 6 months, that I kept during 6 months, for example, suddenly was all unleashed, from my body at a certain point. And sometimes it can be that you're super tired suddenly. Sometimes it can be that you're, super relaxed afterwards. Sometimes it can be that you're super joyful afterwards. But I just wonder if that's also something that you felt, because it lasted 2 years. So I'm just wondering for that, because this is how I would translate to me if I compare to other stuff.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. And in fact, I thought about this and I talked to Jamie about it. I said the exact same thing. I wonder if it's just the release of all that, I will not say tension or stress, because it kind of went pretty straightforward. I didn't have any big struggle to go through it, but it's still, you're always in the unknown. Like, you never know if something's gonna happen, and then I'm gonna not get liberated, and then I'm gonna have to wait another year. And like, there's so there's still a little something. So in fact, that's what I wanted to talk with you, because I was waiting the two things. I was like, is it just a period of kind of liberation, which is a week or 2 or 3, and then after that, I'm just gonna come back full energy and I will know where I'm going? Or is it a mix of a release and a lack of goal? Or is the goal setting so powerful that if on the day of my liberation, I would have sat down and say, perfect, now that's done, what my next goal is, and I would have just set that in my mind straight on that day, then I would not have had that period of not feeling weird, unmotivated, and all of that. Like, I'm asking myself this question. I don't know really what's the answer. I don't know what you think about the three options here.
I don't know, because I feel like we're supposed to talk about goal, and I'm not sure that's about goals, if I'm honest. I think that our body, and I notice that in mine, is that we are really adaptable and we're really malleable. And this kind of thing, for me, it's like a constraint. It's almost like you have, because when you're thinking about that, this is blocking you in a certain way. And I know people say, no, it's not blocking me, but I will take my example of, for example, moving from Canada. I took the decision that's a good question. In my head, it took some time, but let's say that I took my decision maybe in May, something like that, to maybe move, until in November, but I decided it. And what happened is that when you decide to do that, it's almost like you say, okay, now I'm moving, let's say in October or November. And so during this period, I can't start something new, because I know I'm moving, so I'm not going to start something new. So your brain, at the beginning, it's like you force it yourself, but during that period of time, you're not taking new goals or new challenges or new achievement that will go against this thing that is higher. And it's almost like in your head, you're capable to do a hierarchy of goals. And since this goal is superseding everything, you're saying, no, I can't do this one because I'm moving. I can do this one because I'm not liberated yet. And what happens is that you may have put a lot of things from your personal life, also from your, work life, also from your, health or anything, it could be that is underneath this superseding goal. And it's like, at one point, you get this goal done, and it's like, okay, what is my next one? And logically in your head, since you have been in this mode, it's like, yeah, but the goals I was working on it with this constraint, now I don't have this constraint. And it's really hard for the brain to readapt in the fact that now I can do anything I want. Because for the brain, and this is what I truly believe, is that there is no worse thing than not being constrained to find goals or ideas. The brain doesn't work with infinite possibilities. It doesn't work. It's like you finish in these questions in your head. Yeah, but I can do that now. I can do that. And suddenly you don't take any decision because you can do anything you want. This is what it's saying you. You know, it's like, now you got liberated. Go for it, man. You can do whatever you want. And say, if I ask you, what do you want to do now that you're liberated? And you're like, I don't know. Can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And it's, for everyone, is the same thing. When you go through that process, and it happened to me so many times because I moved, because I changed job, because I, whatever, it's like, you know, I finished, for example, the half marathon, right? I finished this first part of the training. Now I need to go for the marathon. And it's funny because it happened to me this week. Last week. So I trained during 3 months doing for this half marathon. The run didn't happen, but I did the half marathon. And I know that normally the next goal is to do the full marathon, but it's almost like, yeah, I did that. Now what? You know, it's like I'm in the same thing. I mean, this transition period where your body has to readapt to something new, you know? So I don't know if it's really about goals or your body just need a bit of time to adapt to the new situation and be in the new reality.
I like that. I really like that we're talking about that, because that's really something that I've struggled with in my life. I was not a goal setter, really. But I had two big moments in the past, let's say 5 to 7 years. And they were such transformative moment for me. And if I just think about it, they were goal setting moment. The first one was when I did my mentorship with an amazing woman in Quebec that I love truly, and she brought me into that exercise of doing my 100 dreams. I told you about that. And then at the end of that exercise, which lasted like months, I realized that what I really wanted to do, my desire that was almost hidden from my view, and it just got to me like straight in my face after doing that exercise, was that I wanted to travel. I wanted to just fucking get out of where I was and just see the world. And I was like 30 or something. It was not 31, I think. So no, when was that? Yeah, I think it was before 30, just before. And I just set the goal in my mind, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I travel, and that's becoming one of my main priorities. And the year after, I was dropping everything, or 2 years after, and just going on these travels, and that was amazing. And the other big changing moment was when I also met, well, that's funny because it's because of two mentors. So I had a mentor in Quebec. I did that program with her, and then boom, it really helped me align myself. And then I met Martin in Montreal, and then I did a program. And on the first day of the program, he like the first exercise we had, he looked at me and he said, okay, we're going to take a meeting, me and you tomorrow, because it was like a group thing. And he said, okay, Matt, we're going to meet tomorrow. I got to talk to you about something. And the next day we meet, and he's like, all right, man, we got to talk about your financial situation. I was like, what? And then he got me into the idea of doing a bankruptcy, and like, it's kind of not what I was expecting from a mentor, but he basically sold me the idea of that was the best way for me. And it It was really right, because I would have lost like 5 years of my life if I would not have done that. Mm-hmm. And it became again a goal. It became like, that's what I want to do. I decided that's what I'm going to do. And it lasted 2 years. And then now I'm done. So why I really think that goal setting are that powerful, it's one part because I kind of read a lot about it. And there's this book that I don't know if you have. Every time I talk about this book to anyone, nobody knows what it is. But it's a really, really, really popular book. And it's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell something. Yeah. No, but I have it with me.
I'm gonna do the same joke that when you talked about this book, the coffee guy.
Yeah. Just a second.
Go over it.
Well, I have it with me, so I'm going to show you. So it's Maxwell Maltz.
Okay. Maltz.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And this guy, this book, I'm already halfway, okay? And this book is so special. The guy is a plastic surgeon, okay? A really renowned one. And he's been redoing faces of people. And it's really weird because he was like close-minded and doing his job and like, I'm a plastic surgeon and everything. But then he started to be really into, he started to philosophize a lot about like why people do that, like why people want to change their face and what is inside of them and everything. And seriously, that book is so amazing because at one point he talked like the golden nugget from that book for me is he compared ourselves to a guided missile. Mm-hmm. You know, the missile that they will follow their prey or whatever, their target until they hit. And to be able to do that, the missile, they have like a fucking bunch of sensor. They have an array of sensor on the missile. And when it does, the only thing that it does is it guides itself with yes and no's. Okay? So if the thing move on this side, it calculates. It's basically a positive feedback loop. So if it's positive, you continue going in the direction. And if you have a negative information that's coming in, you readjust. Mm-hmm. You readjust. So he's just constantly readjusting because he gets information from the sensors. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's basically a goal setting machine that runs so fast because every information is an information to make sure that the goal is still good. So it's basically feeding information to make sure that you realign all the time the goal to make sure that you always align to the right goal and to the target, right? And he says that our brain is exactly the same. That's exactly how we are. We are goal-setting machines. And we have so many sensors on us and we always get information from the outside. And if you don't have goals, you're a machine looking for answers without getting answers. You don't like, or that's not what it is. You are trying to adjust to something, but you don't have that something. So you just get a whole bunch of information, but it doesn't make any sense because you cannot direct it relatively to a goal. Mm-hmm. And so when you miss a goal, your machine doesn't work correctly. And it goes exactly to what you said. You said like, you cannot have infinite possibilities. So when you don't have a goal that's set, you hear all the infinite possibilities you can do, but you cannot take them in a context that's relative to where you want to go. So you cannot use that information. So the machine is just like rolling around without knowing what to do. And it's so impressive. I love this book. I don't know why it's still only halfway, but Yeah. So I woke up this morning and I wanted to talk about goal setting because I feel that's what I'm lacking right now. And I feel that we're missing that in the podcast too.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, for me, okay. So there is for me there is a confusion that is made on a lot of stuff by people with goals and everything. I think there is two types of goals. First of all, there is a long time goals that are like what you can call a North Star. This is where Simon Sinek talked about and everything. And when you were talking about adjusting your thing, I was thinking about, have you seen the old maps of a captain on a boat? Not now, because now they have GPS and everything, but it's when it was before, you know. So they were not working with GPS, it didn't exist. And so what they did every day is that they look at their position compared to the sun and everything, and this is how they knew the position of the boat. And when you look at a map, you see they do this kind of directions, you know, where they're going, where the boat was, what is the situation of the boat, and they're readjusting based on that. So it's exactly the same thing. They knew they were going, for example, from Spain, France, or Portugal, and they were going to the US. They knew it's not a straight line, you know, because you couldn't know where you're going, but your goal, your North Star, is to go to the US. And it's basically the same thing. This is what I'm saying by North Star. So when you're setting goals along the way to go there, you have to do some checkups, you know, and these goals that you have along the way. And for me, I talk about these goals almost like not as constraint, but it's almost like step that you have to go through and help you know where you are compared to your direction with a North Star. It's exactly like this thing about the captain looking every day at his position compared to the sun. You have to do some checkup from time to time, and you have to stop from time to time, because there is no point in having goals that doesn't bring you to your North Star that you want to reach. Now, there is something really complex about the North Star, and this is something you make me remember also. I don't remember what was the movie. I don't remember at all, but I remember when I was a kid, and this quote stayed in my mind since then. And I was like 10, 11 or 12, something like that. I was super young. And I always said, you know, since I'm a kid, like I want to go out of the city, you know, I don't want to do like the family and blah, blah. And I don't know why, but I remember in this movie, it was saying the hardest part is not living, it's knowing where you go. So traveling, deciding to travel, as you said, is super easy. This is easy. Moving, quitting your job, super easy. Like this is decision that you can take right now, and it's super easy. The question is, what do you do after? When you travel, where do you go? Why do you go there? For what reason? This is what is the hardest part to figure it out. And this is where conceptually, as in our brain, I feel, and I presume also over people when we have this discussion, we have the most trouble to figure it out and have a good image of what it is. You know we want to find something else, you know, but what it is that we want to find. When I went to Quebec the first time, I have no clue what I was looking for. When I came back to Europe, I knew approximately what I wanted, but I had no clue I will finish in London. I had no clue that I had the life in London that I had. And now I'm in Barcelona, and I have no clue either when I came here, what I was looking for. But the thing I did and I decided to take as a decision is that every decision that I'm taking, I'm committing to it. And I'm living it like it's my last. So, giving you an example, there is a lot of people that, for example, move to a place and decide to, for example, not really speak the language, or, for example, they don't do their papers. Like it's like they're always in limbo, you know, so they're missing like kind of a goals. Or in my head, I noticed something, which is the way around. If you live like you're there to stay, you have way more opportunities after.
Mm.
I know it's a bit hard to conceive. It's a bit hard to conceive, but it's exactly what happened in Canada. Is that I did my residency right away, I did my citizenship right away, and suddenly I have a Canadian passport. So now, from the moment I want to move from Quebec or I want to do something else, I have way more choices. For example, going to work in the US, because it's super easy. Because as a Canadian, you're almost treated like a US citizen. The only thing you need is a job. You go there to the border and you say, look, I'm a Canadian, and they give you a visa in like 2 seconds. If I hadn't do that, and let's say one day I say, oh, now I want to go to the US, and I'm still French, but I still have just my French paper, suddenly it's another game, because it's like, oh, I need to do visa, and it's like all the impediments, all the pebbles that come into your way. And so you have these mini goals that, like your North Star is that you want to work internationally, for example. So what is the goals that you can put in place to have as much opportunity as you can? This is how I'm seeing goals. I'm seeing goals as these things on the way that help me reach my North Star. I'm seeing like, in climbing, when you have the image of this full climb, not the people that do that without any security, like not the crazy people. I mean, they're amazing, right? But I don't know how they do that. You have these things that they put on the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know the name. And this is on the way, because it's almost like you reach a step, and you know that if you fall, you know that you will not go more down than this step, and then you reach the second one, and I think that goals are that. It's like you see this mountain, you want to reach the top of the mountain, and you know that you need to put like stuff, all three meters, to be secure and to be able to gradually reach the point that you want to reach. Now, I'm going to complexify that. I believe that while you're climbing, you can decide to change direction, or you can decide to move laterally or move even further. So you can decide that, for example, this is not the one you want. I'm going to give you a good example of that. We were in the Parc des Hautes-Gorges. Mm-hmm. We were doing a lac à l'épaule in good Québécois. So we were with the team going there for a weekend, and we have decided to do that for a long time. And I know it's weird, but one day we decided to go and just go on the hiking and go through a mountain. It was raining and everything, but we did it anyway. And so we started to walk, and we started to go for it. And at the beginning, from the point we were in, we were seeing a point that we wanted to go. So we went, and obviously you don't know the road, because the only thing that you see is trees, and this is at the top that we want to go, and we have a map, we know it's there. So you go in there and you follow the direction and everything, and obviously you get lost in there also, because you decide to be adventurous sometimes. And you go, you walk, and during 1-2 hours, you don't know how much time it takes you. You look at the end, and you reach the first point. And suddenly the first point gives you another landscape, another view of what you couldn't see when you were down there. And when we were at the top, and it was already 3 hours that we were walking, we were like, hey, guys, there is another point of view from there that we can get, and we could see the valley from up there. So suddenly the goal changed, because we said, instead of staying here, we're not so far away. We are going there. We didn't know how much time it was taking. So again, we go back and we continue that, and we found a refuge and everything, and it takes another 2 hours. We reach at the top, and suddenly we have a view that is just beautiful on the park, on the valley and everything. We're at the top, we can see everything. And this image is exactly what is for me like what you were saying about how the human brain works, which is you need to have this step on the way, and like you don't know how you're going to go there, but it's there. Once you reach there, you can go somewhere else, and you can go somewhere else, and you can decide something. Even before arriving there, we decided not to take the path that everybody was taking, but we decided to be adventurous and take our own path to go up there. And we made some mistakes, but that's okay. It's it happens. You're adventurous and everything. And I think when I think about it, that's how I try to put in place my goals on what I want to do.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like it because basically that's funny, because my whole questioning at the beginning of the episode was, how important our goal setting, how important it is to set goal. Is it important? Can you drift randomly when you don't set goal? And basically the summary of our discussion goes exactly toward that. When you say you're going to go to the top of the mountain, that's your North Star. That's your biggest goal. And goals should be separated in categories. Like you have that main big goal, and then you have this like a company, people under people, like that. It's like the main goal, the two big main goals, and then all the way down. And they kind of stem from the main goal. And that's how you know if you're going also the right direction, is my short-term goal aligned with my long-term goal? Because if not, you're not going to reach your long-term goal. And also what I wanted to say is the climbing one analogy is really, really good, because you have that main goal of reaching the top. And then you have these little goals along the way that you need to attain to kind of kind of like you put a footing on a new something. So like you're like, oh, I've reached that, boom. Okay, so now I start from here. My next goal is there. I reach it, boom. I start from there. And it's the accumulation of the little goals that bring you to the main goal.
Yeah.
Which this part is so important. It's every brick that you put every day that's gonna make you build a wall. And those big goals, when you set a big goal, you have to know that you're gonna just set it one time. And that's what you want. That's the big goal. And then after that, you don't look at it. Because when you say, oh, I'm going to go climb that mountain, and you look at the big mountain, you say, okay, I'm going to climb the mountain. But you have to stop looking at the mountain because it's going to freak you out how big it is and how long it's going to take and all of that. Once it's set, you come back to in front of you and you're like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And you just go like that. But it's always setting goals, getting new information. Okay, should I go straight or should I move a bit to the right? And what trail I'm going? And it's always realigning through mini goals. You realign to make sure that you reach your highest goal. And also the other thing, the other comparison I was thinking about is like, why goal is so important is that if you're sitting on your couch, it's more talking about how goal motivates you. Like people are so often like they're looking motivation thing and they want to be motivated. Okay. Well, motivation, you don't like find motivation. You find your goal, and then the motivation just come by itself. So if you're sitting on your couch and you're not having the goal of going hiking that mountain, you're not going to move from the couch. If you're just going around in a car and you're just driving and you haven't set the goal of climbing that mountain, you're just going to drive around in your car going wherever, and it's not going to fuel you. So basically, setting a goal is like aiming something and starting the ignite button, and then it fuels you to go and now go in that direction and set mini goals along the way to make sure you reach that. So I think they are fucking important. And I think I'm super, super not good at setting goals. And the only time I really did it in my life, I had tremendous result. So
I'm just going to give two analogies to people. First one, I mean, it's an analogy and an analogy. I will say to people to think when they're going to go to grocery store. And so the goal is the same, right? Doing your groceries for the week. Whether you have eaten or whether you have not eaten before going to the grocery. It's crazy how creative you are when you're hungry and how much stuff you want to buy. If you're not hungry, you don't know what you're going to cook during the week. It's like, well, maybe we can cook spaghetti bolognese, or maybe we can maybe do an omelette. And you hang around and you're like taking 3 hours to basically get the same meal. Okay, the other problem is that when you're hungry, like you're buying all the store and you want to eat everything. So that's another problem. But For me, that's really the comparison between, you have the same goal and you put maybe a constraint or not in it. The second thing, though, about setting goals, this is what is the hardest and the North Star and everything, is that you need to have a part of belief. And this is what it's super hard. So what I mean is that when we say we want to go at the top of a mountain, I mean, we didn't know it was the top, but I mean, we said we want to go at the mountain. First of all, we didn't know what we were going to find there. Second, we didn't know what we were going to do there. And that's already that. So which means that we know we wanted to go there. We had the motivation to go there, but we had no clue what we're going to find there. So you need to go with a belief that what you're going to find at the top of a mountain is interesting enough. And it could be that it's not interesting at all. It could be that it was just going at the top of a mountain and we have been like, yeah, it was interesting, but we just went at the top of a mountain. This is what you can say. Now, the story is that we had the belief and we found, this place where we have this view on the valley, which makes it even more amazing because we were not expecting that. And I think this is what I want to say by this belief that, and I'm going to use the word from Steve Jobs for this famous speech, which is like, you can connect the dots looking backwards. You can connect it looking forward, right? You don't know how the goal you're setting in place now are going to affect your future. You have to believe that it's going to affect your future in the way that you want. For example, the fact that we met, the fact that we decided to go to this events of entrepreneur, the fact we decided to put ourselves out there, the fact that we were open to each other, the fact that we decided to jump on all these calls. Like you said it the other day, like if we could take all the decisions that we have made every day, the little goals that we have put in place, we will have never done this podcast. Or maybe yes, who knows? But I like to believe that it's every decision that we took, for example, to talk to each other, that made this podcast. I'm going to stop there.
That's a good ending point. I always feel it. We always feel it like, oh, that's now.
But goals ending. Matter. Goals matter for me.
Oh,
goals
yeah.
Matter.
Yeah.
Weekly. But, I'm going to, sorry. The farther you are from your goal, the less precise it should be. There is no point in saying in a year, I want to be that. No, who knows what is going to happen in a year? Like nobody has predicted COVID. So, do your vacation plans and everything if you want. But saying like something really precise about the way you are and how you are and everything, no. Like just say, for example, I want to be happy by next year. Okay, cool. That's a good aim. That's a good North Star. Now, how you want to be happy? I don't know. Maybe by spending more time with your friends. Maybe by spending more time outdoors and start by that. Do 1 hour outdoor this week, 2 outdoors. See how you feel about it. And you will feel how you feel. In 1 month that you have took these small goals, are you feeling happier or not? Yes? Good. So maybe continue that way. Not change some stuff. It doesn't have to be, a complex, rocket science going to the moon with Elon Musk. That can be also simple.
I know exactly how you can be happy every day is by being yourself and having fun. That's how you're happy every day. And I like that you say it's so simple. I remember that little infographic that I saw that's just like, are you happy? Yes, no. Yes goes to continue doing the same, and no is change something and come back to the question. That's so simple. That's so simple. Like change something. If you're not happy, try that. Let's say, oh, I'm gonna brush my teeth from the other arm today. Or like I eat smoothie every morning. Well, I'm gonna eat a burger tomorrow morning, like whatever, like change anything and ask yourself the question at the end of the day, am I happy? Yes, keep doing what you're doing. No, change something. That's it. And I do believe that goals matter. And I think we have in both our personal life and in our professional life with Naked. I think you cannot really lose by doing the exercise of doing introspection, finding what you really want, finding your North Star, finding what you really want, and setting goals to kind of go that direction and realigning along the way. You cannot, I don't think you can really lose by doing the exercise of setting goals, or like making sure you are aligned with who you are and what you want to be. So I think we should do that. I think people should do that. Everyone that's listening, we don't have a weekly challenge anymore, but I'm gonna give you that challenge for the listeners today.
We can have it for this week.
We can have it for this week. All right. Well, I'm gonna say it either way. Is sit down, close your eyes, ask yourself, am I happy? If it's yes, continue doing exactly what you're doing. If it's no, then think about one thing that you can change and set a goal to do that thing. That's it. That's the challenge.
Good. Perfect. So thank you everyone for listening to us. If you loved it, smiley or a thumbs up on the video.
I'm gonna say sure. Like all these streamers and YouTubers, they always say on the crypto world, they always say like, smash that like button,
subscribe,
turn on those post notifications.
Thanks, my friend, for a good episode again.
Yeah, thank you, and make sure you engage with us, give us some feedback, comments. We love it. And have a good week, everyone. Have a good week, my friend. And that was an amazing 30th episode. And let's see what goal we can set.
To the moon.